All right, everybody, welcome back to the Inhabit Mars channel. Today, we are going to look at a Gigapan from one of my favorite artists, and that is Neal Spence over at TerraForm Mars. And I'm back in the truck, so I'm using two monitors. So if you see me looking to the right, I'm looking at the monitor that's controlling OBS. So this is the Gigapan we are going to look at, and this is from SOL 540 from the Curiosity Rover. Now, as I've said before, Neal does some excellent cleanups on these images and then stitches them together pretty seamlessly. Um, I remember Chris from Mars Anomalies and Beyond going over this image, and I remember him talking about that structure that you see to the left, that platform, and he was talking about that did not look like a rock, that it looked like an actual platform. So we're going to take a look at that when we get into the Blender Live portion. Uh, let's take a look up here. Now, I found several objects in this entire area, and these were very interesting. This Gigapan took a while because there's just a lot of stuff in here. And the more I looked at this image, the more I found. And there's still more objects, but I finally had to say, okay, that's enough on this image. So it would not surprise me if people comment and say that they found even more stuff. Um, so this right here is a close-up of the hilltop, and that's pretty much where we're going to start right here. Now, if you remember from the preview from our last video, I had talked about the guy that's on the hilltop. And I believe he showed up a couple of more times in this image, but he's not as clear as in the part that we talked about. All right, and we're going to get into that when we get into the Blender Live. The last few things that I actually found were these items right here. And can you see those yet? If not, let me go ahead and show you a little bit closer up and inked. I went ahead and inked them, and Anna and I found these, and we took a little bit of time. I wish I would have got these images out to other people, but right when I was finishing up the model is where I found these, and her and I looked through here, and we really tried figuring out what these were. And what it looks like, the one that's circled in the yellow, seems to be some sort of a water pump, because you can see a valve on it. You can see a collar on the front, which would be the left side of that yellow circle. And it's only half of the collar is there, and then it's got a valve about in the middle behind a metal bracket, and then the output from the pipe to the right side of the yellow circle. And in case you're not convinced and you don't have to agree, obviously we're looking at images and trying to decipher what these things are. So I hope I don't come across as trying to push on people that that's exactly what these objects are, because we really don't know. We're taking our best guesstimations based on the images that we have and the cleanups. But at first I thought maybe it was a motor or something, and then as I looked around the object, I found these tools, and those are circled over there in the green. Starting from the top, if you look at the top, there seems to be some sort of pry bar right there. It would be small, and all of these objects are small, and I'll show you when we get into the model. They're about hand-sized tools. Okay, it'd be something you hold in your hand. And there's the pry bar that's at the top of the green circle, and then right underneath that is what looks like a pipe cutter or a crimper for wires. And then there seems to be at the bottom of that green circle what looks like a clamp. So we'll also get into that. The other object that I found is this object right here, and I have no idea what to make of it. I know it's not a rock, but if you look at the details on this, um, towards the left side of the screen, you'll see a round disc that is attached to like this rectangular base. And then as you look towards the right, there's either another one of those water pumps, which is possible, or an electric motor, and that one's sitting on a disc. And you'll see that better once we get into the model itself. Now, of course, here is our Martian, and if you look at him, you see the big rock that's towards the left side of the image, and then just go to the right of that, and you'll see that he's actually kind of huddled against the hilltop right there. And this is the very top of the hill towards the left-hand side. And I looked at as many images as I could to see if he was in any other images, and I couldn't find him in any of those images. There's none exactly from the same day that I found that show him there. He seems to be just moving along this hilltop from the right to the left, okay, which is going to be reversed on the camera there, so I should go from my left to the right. But he seemed to be moving along and crawling up the back of this hillside and watching this rover, and he showed up 3 times, I believe, but I can't get enough clarity in the other 2 images of him to see him, and maybe someone would be able to go through and clean those up a little better and see. So let's move right along here, and I'm going to go ahead and start in Blender Live. All right, and okay, so this is the scene right here, and I'm going to show you these a little bit first, and then we'll get into, of course, I did some panels and stuff. Okay, this was that that foundation that Chris had talked about, and I went ahead and modeled that, and it seems to be sticking out of the hillside and overhanging this lower part of the hill right here. And I just applied the actual image texture from the image to this so you could kind of get an idea and see what it actually looked like. It's a very low poly model. There's only a few polygons in it, but I did actually model this portion right here. And just because this part, I don't know if these are steps coming down, and I think if I remember right from Chris's video, he mentioned that these might be steps coming down, or it's just a part where it's broken away. All right, and that was where Chris had really focused, if I remember right, on that video. And then now our Martian is right up in this area here. Okay, and I went ahead and modeled this rock, and then these rocks right here, and when we get over to the flat panels, you'll be able to see them, see what I'm talking about. This rock right here, I don't know what it is, but it's very, very rectangular with some sharp edges on it. I don't believe this is just a rock right here. Now, it seems to be sitting on top of this little bit bigger rock right here, and then there's a little one underneath it, and I'll get into that. But let's see if you can see. Yeah, you can see that. Can you see the outline of his hood right here? Now, this is the actual image texture that I just applied to a flat plane. And then you can even see one of his arms where he seems to be kind of, you know, resting on his arm over the hill. But you can see, let me get that off of there. You can see in his hood. Now, I tried to lighten that up to see if we get a look at his face, and there was just no detail in there to lighten up. But you can see the edge of the hood right here. And now, granted, the sunlight is also coming a little bit behind him. If you see, where's my sun up here? Okay, that's for the backlight. This is the sun over here. Okay, can you see the sun is coming from about this angle and shining downward and casting long shadows this way. So we're not going to really be able to get much detail on his face. Now, I did add another front light that's not as bright, just so we could see so we could get some light on the front, because with atmosphere and everything, which Mars does have a thin light atmosphere, but it is there. You need a little bit of front light to kind of fake that, unless you want to go ahead and use an HDRI for the background, which I have done, and then just made them invisible. But it's just easier to add a backlight and tone it way down. All right. So let's get into our panels. Now these panels here is where I started. This is the entire hilltop, okay, that he is sitting on. And just wanted to point out a few things in here. This right here, this was textured like a rock. Let me go ahead and move it out of the way. But look at the real close at the shape of this. This thing almost has a shape of a car. And as you get into it, you can see like this would be the back of the car here. I'm not sure what this is, but this is actually sticking up a little bit. And then this would be the front. And I'm not saying, of course, that that's what it is, but look how this dome structure comes up. And it's almost as if they, took and rockified this, as they put it, like it was some sort of structure or vehicle, and that they rockified it. So this right here is what it looks like, and I took the actual image texture and just stretched it over it. So some of it's going to look a little stretched, but definitely from the side you can see the shape of this. And let me move it out from that little structure so you can see a little better. All right, and that's kind of the shape it has right there. From the best we could tell, and we went over this. Me and several people looked at this, and we just tried to get the best explanation for what maybe it could be. Really not sure, but it definitely has some sort of shape to it that doesn't seem natural. Let's put you back. And then another thing that was in this image was this right here. Now this, I don't know what this is, but it's hollow in the middle. And let me move this out of the way so you can see it in the image. All right. And once again, I just took the texture from the image and applied it to it. But you can see in this image here that it is definitely hollow in the middle. Hang on a second, I forgot to put my phone on silent. All right, so you can see that it definitely has a hollow part in the middle. Now, what kind of rock would do that? I don't know. But here is what this object here looks like. And, it's got this shape to it. And I don't know what that would be. Could it be a little boat? I don't know. The back of it seems a little weird for a boat, but I don't know. But that's the shape that it has, and I don't believe that that is a natural rock. All right, and then let's go to this one right here. This was very interesting to me. At first, I thought, well, it's just an odd-shaped rock. And let me move you out of the way. All right. It looked like an odd-shaped rock at first, and then as we kind of burned through it, and I believe, yeah, I did burn through, I used the dodge tool to darken any light areas, and burn tool to bring out any, I always get those confused, which one's which. And you can kind of see that this has a ring underneath it. It's got some texture to it. It's a little bit shinier than most of the rocks around, so I don't know what the material is, whether it's rock or not. But can you see this opening right here? This seems to be a rectangular opening. So let's take a look at our object here. And I went ahead and made the opening rectangular like it was on there, and I applied the actual image texture to it at the top, and then I kind of gave it a metallic texture because if you go back to our image here, there's a couple of places where you get an idea of this ring that's going around it. All right, and it had a little bit of reflectivity in these areas. And so I don't know if this is an opening to a mountain into the hillside. I shouldn't say mountain because these buttes are really not that tall. I don't believe this is more than about 25, 30 feet at the most. But I'm going to show you on our next video a SOL 590 that was actually done by Joe White at Art Alien TV. That's our next one we're going to work on. And I found a almost completely identical structure in that one on SOL 590. In fact, at first I thought I was looking at the same hilltop, and then as I looked more and more, looks like a different hilltop, and if not, it's just from a different angle. But this structure is almost at the same angle as in this image, and you can see that rectangular opening in that one also. So that was very interesting. I don't know, like I say, is that an opening that goes down into the butte, or what, what else could it be? A ventilation shaft, something, And so there was that one. All right, let's see. I want to get into this object here because I still don't know what this is. Oh, I didn't drop it into this image. All right, well, I have it on one of these images. Okay, I guess I just have it in the... Oh, where did I put you? Okay. Thought I dropped them in this image, but maybe I dropped it in this image. Oh, it's not there. Okay. That's why I should have went through and checked all my objects. But it's this thing right here, and I do have it in the model itself because I took some time modeling this. In fact, let me go over here and just real quick grab it and drop it in. I swear I duplicated it. All right, let's bring you over here. I'm going to go ahead and hopefully do this real quick because I know my videos go long and I want to try to keep this as short as possible. All right, let's scale you up. Hopefully it's at the right angle. Yeah, pretty close. Rotate on the one. And let's move you in place here. All right, that's pretty close right there. I may need to scale it just a little bit. Okay, sorry about that. I really thought I had this already over here. Nope, I didn't. I never duplicated them. Okay, let's save. Okay, so this is that object right here, and this is the close-up once again. And I wanted to show you what this thing, and we have no idea what this is, by the way. We looked at this and looked at this. You can see this like, it's either a motor or another one of those water pumps or something on here, and it's got this disc that it sits on. Then there's this large disc in the front, and then this kind of framing or support on the back. There was a lot of detail in that. It was kind of hard to bring out, but so this is kind of what it looks like. Oop, I grabbed two images. Come on, there we go. This is kind of what it looks like, and I tried to texture as much of it as I could with the actual image texture. And this is that motor thing on the back, and it seems to have this little support piece that comes up here. And you see it's got this half collar on the front, just like that water pump that we're going to look at. that I showed you in the images, and it seems to be mounted to this smaller disc, which goes into the rectangular base or support piece. And I don't know if the bottom side of this copies the top exactly, but we know that this part does going under here. We could see that, but I don't know if this does, but I just took a guess and figured it was probably the same. I didn't unwrap it because I really wasn't planning on looking at it from the underneath, so I didn't unwrap the bottom side, but that's what it looks like right there. And this is found at the kind of the middle of the hilltop, going left to right all the way down. All right. And what else did we have in here? Did I get everything? Okay, that's pretty much most of the stuff on the hilltop. Oh, yeah, this is the close-up of our Martian friend. We did that with the rock. I just wanted to show you what these rocks underneath look like. And that's that one right there. It is rectangular. The corner of this rock seems to be being supported by this one. And then there's this rock underneath that was a kind of weird shape to it. The front is the actual texture from the rock underneath there, and it is supporting this thing as it's sticking out over the hill. Now, to see that better in a three-dimensional view, let's come back over here. And here we go. So this would be the hill, and I might have the hill just a little bit steep. Okay. And click on this rock. There we go. All right, but it is actually overhanging the side of that hill right there, and then it's being supported by these rocks, and that's what's keeping it kind of level, you know. And that's what that looks like. And then we had these look like boats to me, but I couldn't tell. If they are, then they've been rockified also. And these are the front faces of this boat are the actual texture from the image. And you have this bigger one, and these would be small dinghies or something. And here's an even smaller one, and it's right there. Of course, the top, I have no idea what the top looks like from the angle we were looking at. And they just seem to be sitting on top of the hill. And then there was this weird rock here. Now, those I actually have on this panel over here. And let's go look at that real quick. Where are they? Is that it? Yep, I actually put those in. Good. So there we go. These are them. Let me just move them out of the way. Let's grab you two while we're at it. And we just slide those out of the way. And there you go. You can see that little nose piece on both of these. I realize the smaller one is not as clear. And there's a couple of rocks in front of it. I didn't take the time to model those. This model took a pretty long time as it was. And they're sitting right on the top of that hill. And the texture seems to be rock, but you can see this groove going around the top of this like it's probably actually wooden and just had a rock texture applied to it. Even the smaller one, though it's harder to see, you can kind of see that line where the groove goes around it in the same place. Now, what's the chances of having two rocks with the same shape, only one a little smaller, and they both have that nose piece on it? You know, I think those were small boats that got washed up on this hilltop. And by the way, this is SOL 540. If you look at the map of the Curiosity rover on SOL 540, it was right across, it was going right almost in the middle at this point of Gale Crater Lake area. All right, where that NASA says it was an ancient salty or briny lake. All right, and so these could very well be boats. And of course, being that they were in the where the water was, it could be that they actually calcified and turned to rock. So may not be that a texture was applied. They might have actually, you know, fossilized. All right. So there's those. And then let's see, did I leave out anything this time before I get to the tools? I'm not forgetting the tools. I think I got everything in this one. I was going to model this piece right here. It actually looks like some sort of pail or something, but you just couldn't get in close enough to actually see too much detail of whether it was actually something metal, although it does have a little shininess to this part. I thought maybe it was a pail. It's oval right here, and then it seems to have this metal brace piece that goes around the top. So it could be, but I tried lightening it a little bit to see if we could see any better, and it really didn't come out much better. So, like I say, Neal Spence already does a great job of cleaning these up, so there's not a whole lot more I can do to make them any clearer. And let's see. Once again, those boats are right here. All right. And they seem to be buried into the top of this hill. And here's our little structure. I don't remember if I showed it on the 3D, but there it is, and it's sitting on top of the hillside over here. And you know, this butte may actually be some sort of underground structure. That's what I'm thinking, or they just built into the hill. As Chris from Mars Anomalies has said many times, you know, it seems as if they built into these hills, which is very possible. Okay, now those tools, let's get to those, because those are sitting right here. And I'll show you on the panel what these look like a lot better. On this rock right here, and this is just in front of that hill, somewhere right in this area. If you look in the image, and I'll show you on the panel too, so you can get a lot better detail. This right here seems to be a water pump that is sitting on top of this rock. And the reason I think it's a water pump, at first I thought it was some sort of motor. You've got this half collar right here, okay? And then you've got this bracket piece that comes around, and I'm going to show that on the panel where you can see it better. And then you've got this L bracket here, and then you've got this what looks like a valve right there. And this would be like a water main valve, where you need one of those big keys to put in there and turn it with, all right, to open and close it, like the water people would use. All right, and then it's got this base into it right there, and that I couldn't tell if it was rounded or square. It kind of looked square, so I modeled it as square. So what that could be, the only thing I can think of is maybe some sort of water valve. And the reason I was thinking that was because of these right here. These tools. Now, I have to thank Andrew from Polygon for the rust texture. I've used this one before. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I have. I love these rust textures. They're very tileable. This first thing looks like some sort of pry bar. And if you take a look at it, it has this shape. It has this curved handle, though, so I'm not sure what that was right there. And that's what that one looked like. And this next one, and I'm going to show them better, don't worry, in the panels, seems to be some sort of crimping tool. And this is what it looks like. All right. And it's got this flat piece here. I mean, it's curved down going back to front, but sideways it's a flat piece like that. And then you have this part right here, which seemed to have a flat piece on it, and then this blade-like thing, and it's like you'd crimp something down with it, okay? And it has a pivot point in the middle, and then this is a part, you know, where your fingers would go. You'd put your fingers around, you grab it this way, you know. All right, and then the front one looked like some sort of clamp. All right, and this looked like maybe a C-clamp or something. All right, so let's go over to the panel and take a look at that. And yeah, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. I was able to lighten this up so we could get some texture in here. This is the actual image on this piece right here. I just want to mention that. And I took the burn tool and lightened it up so we could see what the side of this looked like. And that is what it looks like lightened up. So you can kind of see that disc right here as it goes back into this. And this thing is very um, uh, it's either mud or rock. Like I say, it's either fossilized or calcified or something. And this disc almost looks like plywood. Okay, that's rotted away. You can really see that up here on this edge right here that I'm pointing to. And see how some of it's rotted away right there. So I think this is all wood and it's just decayed over time. And then, like I say, there's that motor piece. Like I say, I'll lighten it up. And this is just mud caked on right here and mud on the side caked on. And then the wood itself, like I say, is deteriorated. And you see that shape to it that we modeled. All right. Now, here's those tools. And let's start with the rock here. I think I got in a little close. And let's click on you. Let's move you out of the way. I probably ought to go down. There we go. So now you can see it. See it sitting on top of this rock right here. Can you see that C-shaped bracket right there, right behind that half of a collar that's on it? And then it's missing the piece of the collar right here. If I get in a little closer, you see that valve right here. There's the 4 tines sticking out, and it may be a 5th one over here and a 6th one. Couldn't tell for sure, but there's at least 4 tines on it. And like I say, if it is a water valve, then you'd stick one of those big keys in there, and they'd fit in those slots right there, and then you'd turn to open or close it like a main water valve. All right. And then the output, it looks, like I say, rectangular here, so I don't know how you'd connect on this end, you know. All right, let's start with I'm going to call it a pry bar because I really don't know. How do I keep doing that? Let's go up. Up would be better. There you go. Let me move you out of the way while I'm at it. Yeah, we might as well move you. Okay, so here we go. Here's the 3 objects. All right, and you can see some detail. See how it kind of dips down right here and then comes up almost to a point, and then it has this curved handle at the back. Well, let's show you what that looks like here. That should give you an idea. But that's the shape that it seems to have to it. All right. Okay, the next object is this pair of crimpers. You can see that right here in the image. See that flat piece there that actually goes almost down into the mud. Let's see, where was that pivot point? Can't really see it on here real well. But it was somewhere in here was a pivot point for this blade on top. You can see a little bit of the flat piece there. And then that's what we got for that. All right, that is that piece there. And then last but not least is our C-clamp. And I don't know if that's what it is. Once again, that's just what I'm calling it. I thought about using the image textures for this, but I really wanted it to kind of stand out so I wouldn't forget, because these would be the objects I forgot. This seems to have this sort of shape. Now, there may be something in the middle. I couldn't tell if that was a rock or what. There was no way to get that any clearer, so it might actually have something that I should have got an image of those. I forgot. But those type of, they're C-shaped clamps, and you've got the threaded piece, and then you got that little round disc thing on the bottom, and you screw it from the top, and then that part closes down like this. All right. That may be what that is, but it seemed too thick, so I wasn't sure. But I know this part of it we can definitely see. So that's the part I modeled, but it might be something like that. And this is, oops, I get both of them clicked. This is what it looks like. And if it had that threaded part, it would come from right about here all the way across to here, and then there'd be a wider silver-like disc right around this area. And you'd have a T piece at the top where you twist it and screw it down. Okay, so that's what that is. And let's put those back. All right. Now, was there anything I forgot? This was a very cool model, and I really spent a lot of time on this, more than I wanted to, because it took so long, and every time I thought I was done, darn you, Neal Spence, you cleaned it up too good. I found too many things in it. But no, seriously, thank you, Neal, for the work that you did on this. Hope everything's going well for you. And he does such an excellent job of cleaning these images up, and I really appreciate the work that he does. And this was every time I thought I was getting close to done, and there was more stuff I could have modeled in this, but I just didn't. I was like, okay, that is enough. All right, so next week we are going to look at this video. Well, it started as a video by Joe White from Art Alien TV, and so I went to his Gigapan, and I took some images from his Gigapan, and I mentioned this last week. And can you see right where he's got that star right there, just to the left of that? Can you see what really looks like a person walking? Um, this is actually only 50 days later than the one that we're on right here. Now, originally, this is Sol 540 done by Neal Spence, TerraForm Mars, okay? And this one is Sol 590, okay? And it's done by Joe White at yeah, I'll get that out, Art Alien TV. And just in case you can't see our guy yet, I have this really close-up image that I took, and I even circled him for you. Now, this is definitely the shape of a person. You can see both of his shoulders. You can see he's wearing a long, like, I don't even know what to call it, maybe a tunic or something, that goes down to his ankles. You can see that he's got a lighter colored hood on. You can see how it drapes over his shoulders. You can see, I believe, looking at this, that it's his right leg that is stepping up on something, and his left leg is still, a step lower. And he is walking up this hill. Let me go back to this image right here. He is walking up this hill to what, I don't know, but on the hill that's in front of this one, when we get into the model, you'll see that one of those entrances that I showed you here. Okay. All right. Oh, Lord. Okay. I did it again. Sorry. We're going to get into that because I found, if I can get it zoomed out to it, one of these in that image there. And when I went and used the burn tool, I could see that rectangular opening on that one also. Now, is it the same hill? I don't think so, being 50 sols later, but it could be from a different angle. But we didn't see this rock in there, and we didn't see some of these other structures. And in that one, there's actually, let me see if I can see it. Yeah, here. Okay. In that one, okay, in this one, the dirt is all behind it, okay? In that one, the dirt is actually in front of it, and the hill actually extends a little longer. Now, it could be that it's at a different angle, and we're not seeing it. It's more at this angle right here, okay? But you can see from this image here that there is no dirt in front of it, and in that one, there is definitely a big swatch of dirt right there, okay? So when we get into that image there, excuse me, we will go into that, and hopefully by then I'll have you a definite answer on that. All right, it's taken 40 minutes. So listen, guys, I hope you have a good week. Hope everybody stays safe. And following the our People Alive on Mars series that we're doing right now, we're going to get into another series that's going to be the Ancient Builders of Mars. And we're going to go into some of these structures and stuff that are really, really interesting because of the fact that if you look at any of the ancient structures here where the rocks seem to be just fused together and no mortars used, there's several people that have found structures like that on Mars, and some of them, you know, still standing. And we're going to go into some of those and take a really close look at those and see if we can model those in 3D. So I hope y'all have a good week, and keep it safe out there, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you.